Commander, we look and we get a report pretty much every week, and we look at your Facebook page. We see the numbers of trailers and ATVs and
Yes.
vehicles stolen and rising. What in we look at it from the money side of it. What does it cost the department, and what does it cost the city to investigate these type of crimes? Is it an expensive endeavor for you guys?
It depends on the case. If the case is in depth, it could take 40 or 50 man hours to work that case. So yeah, it can be expensive for the city and for the counties to investigate these cases.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, recently, we've talked about this quite frequently, and we've always said that most cars stolen in this part of the country were used for a secondary crime or to joyride or something like that. But in the last couple of busts you guys have did, you saw signs of chop shop type activity where they're breaking down and taking these cars for parts. What would you
Yes.
say is the reason behind that? Why do you think that kind of activity is now moving into this part of the country?
I think probably the main reason is we're small, and I think those crimes are usually well organized criminals. I think they think we may be small enough that they can probably get by with it a little longer than they can in the big city. I think that's probably the driving force.
Mhm.
And usually those chop shops are from stolen vehicles that not from here. They're from Houston and the Dallas areas that are brought to the Amarillo area to be chopped.
Wow. So they bring them up here to kind of get them out of the eye of the public, kind of, out of mind, out of sight. So
Right, right. Yeah, they have heat on them there, as we say in law enforcement. They're hot there, so when they bring them here, they're not as hot. So they
wow.
can let them cool down for a while, and then they can chop them.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a strange thing. Now, this is the travel season. A lot of people are taking vacations, and traveling. I know
Yeah.
several years ago there was a trend that was taking place. And are these numbers still high? Someone parks their car outside of a hotel room, or they park their
Yeah.
trailer or whatever. They wake up in the morning, it's been ransacked, it's been robbed. Are the numbers still high? And what can we do to protect ourselves in those situations?
They are still high, and actually, I think we had 3 or 4 last week. U-Haul trailers stolen from people traveling through Amarillo and spending the night here, and they're stealing the trailers. They're cleaning the trailers out and then dumping the trailers.
Hmm.
So one of the biggest things I can suggest is get a lock for your receiver hitch and make sure it's locked to your vehicle, because what they're doing is they're pulling the receiver hitch and just taking the receiver hitch and the trailer.
Mhm.
So make sure you get a lock for that receiver hitch.
Yeah, that's a I can remember a couple of years ago, there was a gentleman traveling. He was an Army veteran. He had some
Yes.
priceless keepsakes, a Purple Heart, some other accommodations, and
Yes, sir.
that's just a tough blow. You're traveling, you're in transition. You think you're just gonna stay the night, and now you're involved in a major case. It can be a eye-opening experience. Right
Absolutely.
now, Commander, the kids are out of school. We're doing this, we're doing that. There's a lot of activity going on. People are moving and grooving, and sometimes we get a little lackadaisical when it comes to security and securing our items, garages, that sort of stuff, storage equipment. And we've heard this for years. Don't let the kids just drop your bike in front of the house.
No,
That's a
yeah. Yeah, make sure you put that stuff up in your garage and make sure you close your garage door. We've had several auto thefts out of garages in the last couple of weeks. We had one garage that they took both vehicles out of it. So make sure those garage doors are closed, and even though your car's parked in that garage, make sure you take your keys out of your car.
they took both.
They took both. Yes, sir. Yeah.
My gosh, that is crazy. I can remember, especially with that new HomeLink system they have on a lot of updated cars, that you sometimes would have people who would just roll through neighborhoods with one of those remotes and just roll different sequences and
Right.
numbers trying to guess it. Should you change that code often, or what should you do to protect yourself in that case? Garage door openers, and that's one of the things that are stolen a lot of times out of vehicles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the new technology today is with garage door openers, and they automatically roll those numbers. Every time you use it, it puts a different code in, and it's an automatic thing. So I think that's not as prevalent today as it was a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah. We've talked about this too, that the number of trailers stolen rises, and it's been rising over a while. What
Yeah.
makes it so advantageous for the thief to target a trailer? Hard to track, aren't they?
Yeah. Once you get those numbers removed, we really can't identify those. They're really easy to sell. You can put them off on social media and be able to have them sold within an hour. And once they're the numbers are gone, the license plates are removed, they are very, very difficult to recover and to identify.
And one of the biggest things, I had a talk with a friend just the other day about gun violence. And a lot of people will be shocked to know this and hear this, that the majority of the weapons used in a lot of crime are from robberies, or someone's broken into a home and raided
Yes.
a gun shelf or something like that. How big of a problem is that? And what can you do to protect yourself? I mean, the common sense is don't leave your firearm in your vehicle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Don't ever leave your firearm in the vehicle. Make sure you take it out, lock it up. We had over 280 firearms stolen out of vehicles in 2022. So those firearms they're usually, the numbers are usually removed and used in other crimes, or sold on the streets, and used in violent crime, shootings, homicides. So don't be a partner to that. Put your guns away, lock them up, keep them on your person. If you're concealed carry license holder, don't leave them in your car.
Yeah, just not worth it. Just not worth it. The danger just magnifies because the old saying they say, bad guys can always get a gun, no matter what.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
If they're desperate enough, they're going to get what they want. That's just the way.
Yep.
Commander,
Unfortunately, yes.
we with the kids out of school, and I don't know, it brought to mind what's happening in Perryton. They've had a curfew put into place. Do we still have that overnight curfew for minors in certain parts of town?
That is a good question. I am not sure. That's something that the police department would have to answer. I'm not sure about that.
Do you see an uptick in thefts, burglaries, auto thefts in young people when we get to these summer breaks like this? Kids get bored, a lack of parental supervision. Do you see a little uptick?
We usually do see some auto theft increase and juveniles being arrested for those thefts. But so far this year, we really haven't seen that, which is good. I'm glad that's happening. But we have seen that uptick in violence firearm violence with the juveniles so far this summer. So
I think it's been going on since really like 2020, after when we got into the heart of the pandemic. It's
really
odd, and I've talked to a lot of different people. I'm going to ask you your opinion, Commander. What are something we can do? What can we do as citizens to do this? I thought about more mentoring, especially at younger ages, and get kids to understand that these are life or death consequences. Sometimes you're making life changing consequences. What can we do to kind of curb and fight this large number? And I'm not the kind of person, you can't blame the tool. It's the person behind the tool.
Absolutely. Yeah. A firearm's just like a car. It's a machine, and it depends on how you use that machine, whether or not it's dangerous or not. And as far as the juveniles, I think mentoring is a big thing. I'm not sure we teach our kids the difference between right and wrong as much as we used to when we were kids. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
Mom and dad were busy working all the time, trying to make a living. So the kids have a lot of spare time on their own. The influences from social media, I think, have a big role in violence with the youth as well.
That just blows my mind. It's amazing the number of case after case involving firearms and juveniles.
Yes.
It's really become an epidemic.
Sure.
Well, Commander, as always, some great advice to keep us safe and keep our eyes open and peeled. And thank you so much for all you do for us. And be careful.
I will. Thank you.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We're back with more chat right here on Newsday Amarillo at News Channel 10-2.